Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by faxing notice of the meeting to the Atlantic City Press, the Star Ledger, the Camden Courier, and the Atlantic County Record on January the 7th, 2022. Senator Vincent Palestina will now swear in Carl Patali as Township Committee member.
Happy New Year, everyone. Great to be here. And I think the biggest township in New Jersey. Always arguing with Galloway over that. Great township. Great to be here to swear in Carl. Great township been in the last 3 years, and looking forward to wonderful things in the future from you, Carl. So you guys are going to hold the Bible on the left hand. You are next to me. Nope. There you go. Left hand on the Bible. Right hand in the air. Looking back at the camera there. I, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Township Committee, member of Township of Hamilton, for the term January 1, 2023, through December 31st, 2025, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. One more thing, Carl.
Oh, I got a sign.
Not official yet.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Are you swearing in, Thelma? Yes. Senator Vincent Palestina will now swear in Thelma Witherspoon as Township Committee member.
A little different. Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. Hey, great to be here, gentlemen, and swear you in. It's an honor to be able to do this for you, and welcome to the Township Committee in Hamilton County.
Congratulations.
Great. You're gonna switch again. Got a few more pictures of you here. Left hand on the Bible, right hand in the air, and you're gonna repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Thelma Witherspoon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
the office of Township Committee member
the office of Township Committee member
of the Township of Hamilton
of the Township of Hamilton
for the term
for the term
January 1st, 2023
January 1st, 2023
through December 31st, 2025,
December 31st, 2025,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Did you sign? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good to go?
We'll now have the roll call of attendance. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Ms. Hopkins?
Here.
Mrs. Link?
Here.
Mr. Patali?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
If we may now have a moment of silence for private reflection, please. I call now for nominations for the permanent chairperson, also known as mayor, for the year 2023.
I nominate Carl Patali.
Mr. Richard Cheek nominates Carl Patali. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations going twice? Can I have a motion to close nominations, please?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to closing nominations? I call now for the vote for the appointment of Carl Patali as the permanent chairperson for the year 2023. Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins.
Pass.
Ms. Hopkins passes. Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Patali,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Motion carries.
Order. Okay. Rita, keep me straight, please.
You going?
Okay.
Now looking for nominations to the selection of permanent deputy chairperson, deputy mayor, for year 2023. Any nominations? I'll nominate Richard Cheek.
Mr. Patali nominates Mr. Richard Cheek.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations?
Motion.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We have a roll call vote. Rita?
Yes. This is for, I'm just repeating things for Ms. Hopkins' benefit. The mayor is calling on the vote for the selection of deputy chairperson, Mr. Richard Cheek. Mr. Richard Cheek.
Yes.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 60970.
Isn't that nice?
That was not me.
Okay. Richard. That's where the gavel comes in. Richard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins? Ms. Hopkins? Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
I'm going to try one more time. Mrs. Hopkins, are you there to vote? Motion carries 4. No, nothing opposed, no abstentions. Have we lost the connection? We've lost the connection. She did not answer. I'll call back.
Oh, good. We might have a chance here.
She just did.
She did? Okay.
Yeah. Nothing?
Nothing, Chris?
I can try her again. She didn't answer when I just tried her back the first time.
You want me to
The
try?
record will
Try
reflect,
her
we're
one more
trying to
time,
call
please.
her, she's not answering the phone. We've lost the connection.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging
Oh,
system.
that's what the message was.
That's where
I
it
didn't
came from.
realize.
Okay, well, moving on. To appointments of professionals for year 2023 or until a successor is appointed. Township Solicitor,
I move Abert Mamera of Mamera Law LLC to be the township solicitor.
Second.
This is going to be tough.
any other motions?
Motion Hankins, Salmon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we vote first?
Not nominations.
Okay, so there we go, my first mess up.
Has done a motion, and it's second by Mrs. Dr. Witherspoon. Sorry, I'll get it right. You need a roll call vote, and you need 3 in the affirmative, unless we can get Sue Hopkins on the phone.
I can try her again.
Okay. Roll call.
Roll call,
This is on, I'm sorry, Marmara.
correct.
Mr. Cheek,
No.
Ms. Hopkins, Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Mayor Patali.
No.
Tie vote, the motion fails. Now you can go ahead. Cheek.
3,
Mr. Cheek can go ahead now.
Now I can motion for
Oh,
Hankins,
I'm sorry.
Salmon.
Yes.
Okay, I motion for Hankins, Salmon.
second.
Okay, the motion is for Hankins, Salmon, and Palladino. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins, Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Mayor Patali.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
3B, alternate conflict solicitor, we will table that as we have no applicants. 3C, township auditor,
I move that Scott P. Barron of Bowman and Company to be our auditor of the township.
Second.
Is she on there? Will you let me know if she's on there?
I'm gonna try again, but if she doesn't answer, it could be her voicemail.
Mr. Solicitor, now that you're in your seat, should I continue calling her name at each
Your
time?
call has been forwarded to an automated voice
Or
messaging
just
system.
She's absent at this point.
I think at this point, you've made 3 attempts that I've
Okay.
counted. I think that satisfies it. If
All
she
right.
does back in, she can participate. She
And
doesn't
you'll
have
let
to
me
be here for
know
the
right
whole
away
meeting.
if she comes back in? Okay, thank you.
You bet.
thank you.
So this is a roll call on Bowman as the auditor. Mr. Cheek,
No.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Mayor Patali.
No.
Motion fails.
I would like to nominate Ford Scott.
Second,
It's an appointment, not a nomination.
Okay.
Just to be clear. Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yeah. Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
Mayor Patali.
yes.
Motion carries.
3D, bond counsel,
I would like to JP Caspizio. Caspiza?
Capizzi.
Keep going. What was that?
Capizio.
Capizzi. I'll second that. JP Capizzi. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
3E, township engineer.
Watkins?
I'll second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 3F, alternate township engineer.
Nominate Remington Verdict.
I'll second.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3G, certified New Jersey general appraiser. We will table that as we have no applicants. 3H, financial advisor. We do have applicants, but I would like to table that for further discussion at our next meeting. Yes.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on that.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3I, labor council.
I would like to Blaney, Donahue, and Weinberg.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3J, redevelopment attorney.
I'd like to go with Mally Givens.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. 3K, risk management consultant.
I'll go with Hardenberg Insurance Group.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3L, tax map maintenance engineer.
Go with Remington Verdict.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3M, traffic engineer.
I'd like to go with Remington Verdict.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 3N, alternate traffic engineer.
I move that Greg Valesi of CMI Associates be the alternate traffic engineer.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Do I have? Yes, I have late list items. I guess we're supposed to do that.
I'll
Huh?
motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have 3O, special projects engineer.
I move that Greg Valesi of CME Associates be the engineer for the special projects.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 4, need a motion to authorize the administrator to prepare formal, fair, and open professional services contracts for all appointees for 2023 or until a successor is appointed, and authorize the mayor and township clerk to execute the same.
I'll motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Number 5, looking for a motion to appointment of township physicians for the year 2023 or until a successor is appointed to be compensated on services as rendered basis.
So moved.
I'm sorry. Atlantic Care, Occupational Health Services, Atlantic Investigations, and Weymouth Wellness Center.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 6, Great Egg Harbor National Scenic and Recreation River Council. River Council recommends, Township Committee appoints.
For member, 2-year term, I'd nominate or recommend Bill Chrisman.
Second.
Do we need roll call votes for this?
Yes, you do.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Alternate member.
Michael C. Dupree.
Second.
Motion and a second, however, the Greater Egg Harbor Scenic and Recreation River Council, recommended someone else for that. If there's discrepancy in not going with their recommendation, I'm not sure how to handle that. You might want to table it.
Is that,
In your packet, or I emailed it.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor, I would advise that you table that issue.
Okay.
Table it?
Yes, I'd like to table that.
I recommend tabling it.
All those in favor?
Second, don't we?
I don't know, do we need a second?
second?
Yes. All those in favor? Aye.
Oh, wait, see.
Number 7, Economic Development Commission. I would like to, make a motion to table this as, and we will look at this at the next meeting. There are several authorities and alliances that need to be reached out to before we move forward with this.
Second.
All those in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Nay? Aye. Ayes have it. What are you laughing at me for?
Just act like you don't, just keep going, you're fine.
You just keep-
Hamilton Sustainability Team, Township Committee appoints.
We just list them.
I'm just going to go right down and kind of nominate each one myself, and then I guess we need a second. Do these have to be
No,
roll called?
Mr. Mayor, you can read the entire list, all the names. As long as
Okay.
there's no objections to any of the names, you can push it through all at once.
Okay.
Single vote, but it does need to be a roll call vote.
It does need to be roll call?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Citizen representative, these are all one-year terms. They expire 12/31/23. Suzanne Marks, Susan Lazarchek, Denise Applegate, Cynthia Myers, Audrey Palumbo, Carol Dupras, Helen Hudson, Ryan Greach, Francine Saravia, Lena Gwen, Crystal Rodriguez, Michelle Bellinger, and Victor Hudson.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Municipal official, Luann McCardle. Do we appoint that, or is that? I'm-
Motion?
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Did you move and second at the same time?
Yes.
He moved,
Oh,
I
okay.
second.
All right.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. The Township Committee Representative. Judy, you were the representative last year. Would you like to be Judy, representative this year?
Okay.
I move Judy Link.
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Historic Preservation Commission appointments. We have a Class C member, 4-year term expires 12/31/26.
I recommend Linda Brenner.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Class C member, four-year term expires 12/31/26.
I move Genevieve, Dilla, how do you spell her?
I think
Come
it's
on, you can
DeLuggin.
say it. Go ahead.
DeLuggin. I'll second.
All right.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. And there are two alternate spots. So if anybody wishes to apply, you can go online and fill out an application and send it in. So we will move on from there. I don't have to table that, right? Okay. Industrial Commission,
I move Jack Carson be
Second.
appointed.
we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Second position for a five-year term expires 12/31/27.
I'll move Luke McFarland.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 I move that Bob Fink occupy the unexpired 5-year term.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Oh, sorry, yes. Hamilton Township MUA
I nominate Arlene Dix.
for the five-year term for a regular member.
Yes.
Do I have a second? No second?
I'll motion Frank, do we stay right with it? Yeah, Frank Tomasello.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 I nominate Alita Graham for the alternate 2, 5-year term to expire 2/1/23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
No.
Yes.
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 And Mr. Mayor, if I may, just want to clarify, that term expires February 1st of 2028, is that correct?
Yes, both of them, February 1st, 2028.
Thank you.
Oh, 2023?
2028.
What's this, 23? Oh, that was a mistake.
Oh, okay. I'm looking here.
Oh, okay. You're looking at your
Yes.
list.
Planning Board. Now, I'm probably going to mess this up. Class 1 is the mayor or the mayor's designee. I will take that position. Class 2 is township official, and I appoint Aaron Crane.
Ooh.
Class 3 is a township committee person, and that needs to be voted on, so I need a motion. I'll motion Rich Cheek.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. And then I have an alternate 2, which is a two-year term, expires 12/31/24. This is mine, correct? And I pick Angela Harris Moore.
No. It's alternate
Oh, okay. That was alternate 1.
Yeah.
And then alternate 2, unexpired 2-year term, expires 12/31/23. I choose Bob Fink. Bob Fink. Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board, Township Committee. We need applicants for this. So once again, if anybody's interested, please fill out an application and send it in. So that will be tabled. Senior Citizen Advisory Committee. We have a couple of people. We're looking for representatives from Fairways, Tavistock, and Woods Landing. We only got one application out of those 3. Letter was sent out asking for more volunteers for this. We also did not receive any applications for the citizen representative, so we're going to table this for further discussion. Veterans Advisory Board, once again, no applicants, so we're looking for applicants. Reached out to some other members of this board already to try to get them to drum up some interest. So that will be tabled, and we will be looking for applicants for that also. Zoning Board of Adjustment,
I nominate Mark Cohen
Second.
for which
for the,
you have a member, 4-year term expires 2 members, 4-year term expires 12/31/26. An alternate 1 or alternate 2.
I would say for the alternate 1, 2-year term to expire 12/31.
Well, she
Yeah.
motioned,
Yeah, I motioned that Mark Cohen have be nominated for the first 4-year term.
Second.
so this is for a regular member.
Yes,
We're nominating Mark Cohen.
right.
And we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
No.
Yes,
Yes.
No. We have looking for a member for a 4-year term, 2026, or 12/31/26.
I nominate Peter D'Amico.
I'll second that. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Member, 4-year term expires 12/31/26.
I nominate Bob Carmen.
I'll second Bob. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Alternate 1, 2-year term expires 12/31/24.
I nominate Mark Cohen.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
No.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. And then we have alternate 2, an unexpired 2-year term expires 12/31/23.
I nominate Ray Kyleman.
Second.
Motion to second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Emergency management. I confirm everything under number 17 as appointed by the coordinator.
Second.
Yeah, that's just an appointment, right?
Oh,
That's
just
just an
an
appointment by me.
Okay.
Do I need to read everybody off? No. Okay. Okay, so that's as listed on the agenda. 18, Local Emergency Planning Committee. Mayor appoints a coordinator. And that would be Greg Sambrone. And, yep,
And he's appointed the co-coordinators, they're the ones listed in 17. And then the other appointments are yours, mainly by Philip, they're listed here.
and then, so I confirm everything under 18 as appointed by me.
Except for mayor, or mayor designate.
Oh, yes. I will be on that. I will not be setting up a designee. Thanks, Judy. All right, 19, Emergency Services Advisory Board. And this is all by title. And the 3. So all by title. Chiefs of the fire companies, chief of rescue squad and dive team, fire official, chief of police, emergency management coordinator, police emergency communication, township committee liaison to public safety, and 3 residents, and up to 3 residents. And that will be Henry Dorsey and John Piercy. All good? Choosing of department co-chairpersons. I'm going to table this and wait and see who takes Committeewoman Hopkins' seat, as there's no way I can really pick who that's going to be, who's going to take those positions, as I don't know who that person will be, don't know what their strengths or their weaknesses are, so I don't want to make an appointment now and then have to change it later. So that will be done at the next committee meeting.
Or when you appoint, when there is an appointment,
Excuse me?
when there is an appointment of the one to take her place.
That should be at the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
I don't make any guarantees on stuff like that, that's for sure.
Okay.
Designation of holidays for full-time salaried employees for 2023. Is there any discussion that needs to be had
You
with
need a
this?
second, or
We have discussion with the union laborers, the union contracts that are already in place.
Yes, so this,
I move the designation of holidays for full-time salary employees.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Committeeman Cheek said.
He said something
I'm
about
sorry,
labor union.
In the past, we've ran into a snafu with the labor that is signed with existing union contracts that we're under contract with now. And that's what, in my opinion, we have to take that into consideration as far as adding a holiday that's not under contract.
Are you talking about Juneteenth?
Yes.
correct.
And that was on the contract, it was
No.
on the calendar last year?
It's not on the contract,
I mean, it was on the calendar.
It was on the calendar last year.
Calendar.
but the contract is older than the calendar.
So you're saying to get rid of that?
I'm saying to table it or look into it, to sacrifice another holiday so it's the same amount of holidays. As of now, with the way the contract reads, I believe, and I could be wrong, that would be an overtime day for all the police. Everyone that works that day now turns into an overtime day. Dispatchers, everything else. When they signed a contract, before that day was ever in existence. So now you're adding a holiday and giving them overtime pay to man that particular day when they were in agreement with the labor contract they signed basically 2 years ago before this was a holiday.
But it was on the calendar last year.
That was
Yes,
after
it
they
was.
signed a contract. When
No.
they signed a contract, there was no Juneteenth. So now you're adding something, and now we're adding, as a committee, we're adding overtime days to people, dispatchers, police, EMTs, whatever. Now that's an overtime day when they already signed the contract. We ran into problems last year with
Okay.
it, and we tried to do the right thing, but it basically came back to bite us.
How much overtime you talking about?
We'd have to look into it, I don't know.
Can we table this?
Can we-
until-
I make a I would like to, how about if we remove Juneteenth and Election Day and approve all the rest, and then go to Labor Council and our solicitor to find out exactly what can be done, what are we allowed to do, union contract-wise, and get with the chief of police and maybe Cynthia to find out if there's, how much is this going to cost for overtime, for added cost for overtime, if we make Juneteenth a holiday. I don't know I have no idea what the ramifications are with that.
Can we just table it at this point and then come back to it?
Well, I don't think we can table everything, because then we have Martin Luther King Day, which is the 16th. So that would create an issue.
I agree with, Judy, I agree with tabling Juneteenth and Election Day and working it out from there, that's all. I'm not trying to cut anybody out, but
Yeah, well,
not add another paid holiday.
but as an African American, you have to understand why I would want this holiday in here.
And I think all we're asking is just to find out what the ramifications are. That's it.
Okay.
We just want to make sure our bases are covered. We're not doing anything that's going to come back and become a problem later on down the road with the unions or whatever. So I'd just like to, can we remove those two, Rita?
And when will this be
At the-
decided?
I would like these questions answered by the next meeting,
By the 19th?
17th. I think it is.
17th of January?
Yes.
All right.
Fair enough? Can we
I'm
do
not
that,
happy.
Rita? Can we
I'm not
remove
happy
those two?
with that.
Yeah, you could just remove that, the Election Day holiday.
Didn't we celebrate it last year and we ended up paying overtime on Election Day? Because the union contract stated that it was a paid day off.
Go ahead, Rita.
Last year, the employees were given off Juneteenth. It was a different day because it was last minute. They were given off Juneteenth. And the online employees had Election Day taken away from them. However, the Teamsters were granted both holidays,
Yeah.
and Election Day. Last year.
And we know that last year was kind of muddled and pushed and probably not done exactly properly. I don't want to say that. I don't know what the word I'm looking for to say. All I want to do is just make sure we're not doing anything that is wrong with any union contracts, with anything that's going on with the police contracts, with the current police contracts, in making that an official holiday. I don't know if it was a problem last year. I have no idea. So I would just like to,
If there's a concern, Mr. Mayor, with interference with contractual rights or breach of contract, the solicitor can certainly look at those contracts and offer an advisory opinion before the next meeting. How you want to proceed today is entirely up to you.
I think that you really should leave Juneteenth in there. There was a problem before, but something can be, changed in a contract that didn't appear with Juneteenth. And I think the most, the election day is probably the one that we could skip, in my opinion.
I totally agree with you, but as far as contracts are concerned, how about if we just move, because we have January 16th and then we have February 20th. How about if we move it, that we approve all the way up to there, and that gives us a month or so to rectify.
Oh, it'd go up to Memorial Day?
Yeah, anything,
Martin
Memorial
Luther
Day,
King.
Good Friday, anything, but it just gives us a month or two to rectify and look into what we're discussing.
I don't see how you can approve a portion of the calendar and not the entire calendar. All right, so if you're going to hold Juneteenth or Election Day out, Do we need a motion to do that?
Yes.
Okay. I call the vote.
Call a vote for,
Well, we got to do the motion to leave Juneteenth or not, to have it discussed.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. Remove Juneteenth and remove Election Day, and we will discuss that at the next committee meeting.
Fine.
Is it a motion to
Approve
entire calendar as presented with the exception
of Juneteenth and Election Day. That's a motion.
Needs a second.
I thought we would do a separate motion to just take those two out and then approve the entire calendar.
That's what it is.
That
Yeah.
is?
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a second?
The motion is to approve this entire calendar except for removing Juneteenth and Election Day.
Correct.
Dr. Lewis, is that how you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I'm not happy about it, but go ahead. All right.
I have a motion by Paul Costello, second. I didn't hear a second.
Did you second it?
No.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I need a motion to designation of official newspapers for municipal legal advertising for 2023. Atlantic County Record, Hamilton News, Camden Courier Post, Press of Atlantic City, Vineland Daily Journal, Mainland Journal, Newark Star Ledger.
No motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Establish regular township committee meeting dates and times. Motion to approve as listed.
Second.
The motion, I make the motion to establish regular township committee meeting dates and times. And yours?
The second.
Second.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Did anyone check this with the Eagles schedule?
No.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. I need a motion to approve certification of memberships for the year 2023. Atlantic County League of Municipalities, Atlantic County Mayors Association, and Atlantic County Association of Township Officials.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. On to comments. Dr. Witherspoon.
I am very excited to have been elected by the residents of Hamilton Township, and I'm looking forward to work on a bipartisan way with the entire committee in order to get things done in this township. It is about time that we put everything aside and put the residents where they belong, which is first.
Very good, thank you. Mrs. Link.
I'd like to congratulate Thelma on her win. This is the first woman of color on this committee. Thank you. Thelma has a great deal of experience in municipal government, coming from Atlantic City, and here she will scrutinize all the expenditures and make sure that they jive. And I think that is a wonderful a- addition to our, committee. Not that we haven't, but she does have an eagle eye when it comes to that. And I would like to also say that the win of Carl Patali was a great win, and a great win for Thelma, because the people spoke that they wanted more cooperation and a bipartisan type government than was previously instituted. So I would again like to congratulate both Thelma and Carl. Carl stood firm on his beliefs, and so did Thelma, and we will proceed in a very transparent way so that everyone knows what is happening and what is going on, and there's no backroom deals that are being made. Thank you.
Mr. Cheek?
I echo the thoughts of Mrs. Link as well, and congratulations to Thelma for being elected, and congratulations to you, Mr. Mayor, for being re-elected, and I look forward to working with everyone and moving on as a township as whole. So congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Witherspoon. Very excited to be working with you and Judy and Rich as well, and whoever will be taking Committeewoman Hopkins' spot. Thank you to the residents of our township for voting for me. Once again, very humbling, and I feel a wee bit of pressure to perform as expected, which I will do make every attempt to do. And being elected unanimously by everybody up here as mayor is very exciting, and I think it's showing that we are coming together, and we're going to move forward and do everything we can for this township, and do what we can to move the township forward, look for opportunities, and do so and evolve. As my good friend Mr. Fye would always say, we have to evolve, and we're going to continue doing that. So thank you to everybody. Congratulations to all the people who have been appointed tonight. Thank you for wanting to volunteer for this. And once again, if anybody wants to volunteer, the applications are on the website. We need people, so come on down and apply. For that, we're going to adjourn for recess for pictures. Congratulations. We will reconvene for our regular business meeting. So do I need a motion to adjourn this?
I'll motion.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Against? There we go. Regular meeting of January 3rd, 2023. Mr. Cheek?
Yes, before we start the meeting, I'd like to clarify something on the reorganization meeting, item 21, which was the paid holidays. I was totally misunderstood what was going on. Last year, we had a problem with the Juneteenth and the Election Day holidays. I misunderstood everything, and I would like to bring that back up and have the Juneteenth approved as well, and then check on with the Election Day later, on a later date.
So have our solicitor look into any technicalities or issues that may arise with any union contracts we have.
Yes.
You're approving now item number 21 as an account, which is
Yes.
yes?
So do we need a motion?
Second?
So moved. Sorry.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. And I would like to make a change. Bob Link was placed on Planning Board and Industrial. I would like to remove him from Industrial. As it being on Planning Board, he cannot be on another board, correct?
Okay, so,
Industrial Commission is the Township Committee, and the planning board is your appointment. So we want to keep your appointment on the planning board. We would need the committee
I make a motion to remove Bob Fink from Industrial Commission.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. And we will fill that position at the January 17th, providing we have applicants that are allowed to take that position.
Okay, now, what position is he now on?
So he is on the planning board.
Oh, he is on the planning board.
Correct.
Okay,
Be alternate, correct?
Alternate two on the planning board.
okay.
Addition, deletion of late agenda items. We have reorganization we already took care of, so regular agenda. 7I, motion of authorization to advertise for a township administrator, and we have a deletion of 6R. Hear a motion?
So
Say that
moved.
again?
It'd be, addition of the regular agenda would be 7I, motion, or authorization to advertise for a township administrator,
Oh, 7I, okay.
and delete 6R.
Delete 6.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Motion and a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Against? Passes. Early public comment. Do we have anybody on the list?
J and 6O.
Because of the way the consent agenda is listed, we have appointments as a GIF fund commissioner and alternate, but we see no names or anything like that. The reason I rise on this tonight is because I sat in the back row about 3 to 4 years ago when Paul Maiola, one of the founding directors of the GIF back in 1986, that's how long I've personally known him, and I talked to him about the GIF and the fund commission, the commissioner position. And he told me, which I'm glad I was seated, I would have fallen down, it's the responsibility of the GIF fund commissioner to be reporting to the governing body on the pending lawsuits against the township. I have no memory of any resolution on a township agenda to take the township committee to an executive session to discuss pending litigation ever. Certainly not in the 3 years I sat up there. We never went to discuss litigation. So whoever you're going to appoint is going to have to understand, based on what Paul Maiola told me in this room, that's the responsibility of the GIF Fund Commissioner, and I suspect no one ever realized that. But you absolutely should be getting informed of the pending lawsuits against this township. That's more of a statement, I realize, not a question, but you need to know what I learned.
okay.
Okay.
I take a lot of notes like I see you writing, Carl. That's why I was waiting for you to be ready. The second item, I actually was going to, you've deleted what was going to be one of my 3 items, so I only have 2. This cannabis situation, to go out for an RFQ, I think that we need to pause. We need to get a report, whether we means you people in private or we in the public. How many resolutions have been passed to say, yes, we agree that you, Joe Blow, can apply for a cannabis license for this location? My obstacle is when I'm reading these resolutions on the documents of the township, it doesn't say the location. There's no block and lot, there's no street address, there's nothing. So you need to know how many resolutions have you already passed. I think the ordinance says only 3 locations for each license will be permitted under our ordinance. There are 5 licenses from number 1 to 5, 1 being a grower and 5 being a retail store. The Saturday, a couple days ago, I was looking at the Cannabis Regulatory Commission decisions, and I found 2 Class 1 growers, that's not the micro growers, 2 Class 1 growers have been approved on a conditional license, 1 in September, 1 in October, to move ahead to the next step to get a license. I have no idea where these places are going to be located. I did file an OPRA on Saturday when I saw them, so the 2 names are on file in this township that I filed those OPRAs, but the response came back today. You don't have the agreement of sale and you don't have a memorandum of understanding, which means they're not to be in the industrial park. So my question is, and I don't expect you to answer, you guys need the answers so we can also have the answers. How many licenses, how many resolutions have been passed for how many locations, and how can people in the citizenry get the locations of all those licenses, because I don't know where they are, and we're entitled to know that. All good?
And I'm sure that's something that Aaron has all that information, correct?
But you have to file an OPRA for a
Yeah.
specific document. I asked for 2 documents, they don't exist. So rather than file 22 OPRAs a day on her office, it'd be easier if there was a report generated, and we could file an OPRA for the report. Anybody that wants to see it could see it.
Okay.
I myself would like to know more of these locations. Every time we've had a, something to vote on for the cannabis, it's wherever. I don't know where they're being, located.
And Judy, the deleted item tonight is for a retail store, but who knows where. And I realize it's removed, but you get my point. It's a retail store. A retail store I don't think would be in the industrial park.
No. So let's get straight these proposals, where they're supposed to be located. I want more from Aaron Crean as far as this endeavor, because they could be, as long as they satisfy the requirements, they could be anywhere. And I think we deserve to find out where they're going to purchase land in order to have these cannabis.
My additional concern on this is if you've approved 5 resolutions for 5 different businesses, all for a Class 1 license, but the ordinance says you're only going to have 3, how much money are private people paying to move forward with what they think they have a chance to get? And then the door's going to get slammed after they've spent their money. Is there going to be a liability come back on the taxpayers because we didn't cut it off at 3 and let the first 3 proceed for Class 1, first 3 Class 2, and I think that's the micros. I don't want to use the word
This is
trafficking.
special.
The ones that delivery service is another one of the licenses. I think we need to find out, do we have a liability if we've gone too far? Thank you. I won't take more of your time.
Thank you. Any other for early public comment?
Yes, you have Bruce Drive for 5B and 7I.
Congratulations, committee, and Happy New Year. I addressed this issue several times, and it's the CarMax getting their approval. Did you have, there was an executive session a couple of weeks ago, a couple of meetings ago. Was that the subject of what the resolution is tonight?
Am I allowed to answer that, since it was an executive
You
session?
can, but
Well, if it's published, has it
Generally,
been?
public comment is just his opportunity to speak and be heard. You don't have to respond or answer anything certainly that happened in executive session.
Okay, here's my, and actually, that's
Yeah.
part of my, this is part of my point. And it's not so much CarMax, but it's the process. Now, CarMax, according to our zoning ordinances, requires, for used car sales, requires a use variance. Unless it is associated with a new car sale establishment, like Shore Toyota. They can sell used cars if they take a trade. But CarMax is specifically a retailer of used cars. They need, according to Township, and I'm repeating myself because I've been here 3 or 4 times with the same exact issue, and there's never been an answer. So what happens, or how does the process deal with use variances with applications in our entire township in need of rehabilitation or redevelopment? Typically with a use variance, and it could be anything, not just used car sales, but this is a good example because it's on the agenda. How are use variances dealt with in the types of situation that there's a contract with the township? When is, there's a 200-foot advertising law. Anyone that within 200 feet of the subject property must receive a notification. So how is that dealt with? How is the use variances with these applications? Because I went to the minutes from when CarMax was before the planning board. Coincidentally, it was the same night as the Columbia Care on the, and Mr. Malley stated that Columbia Care did not need a use variance. However, there was no mention that a use variance was not needed for CarMax. So going forward, how does this ordinance deal with use variances if it doesn't go before the zoning board? All of this goes before the planning board. Planning board does not grant use variances. So, you know, I've asked the exact same question when the attorney for Malley, Givens, was here. She did not answer the question. I don't know if she evaded or just didn't want to answer, but that question has not been answered. How are use variances dealt with in the redevelopment? Maybe Bob knows. Congratulations, Bob, by the way.
Thank you, Bruce.
Bob looks like he might have an answer.
Bob, do you have an answer?
I can speak on this, Mayor. So what I'm looking at is that it was a redevelopment agreement for CarMax to go in the specific block and lots. When a redevelopment agreement is approved by Township Committee, it's permitted and allowed to go in front of the planning board. So there isn't a use variance because the redevelopment agreement, the redevelopment plan allows that use, allows that criteria for that zone, for that specific property, that use of CarMax itself. So that's why it was in front of the planning board before. I do not know the specifics on this redevelopment agreement or the plan, and if it's being adjusted, I can look into it, and why it's being amended, but a redevelopment agreement, it will go in front of the planning board, not the zoning board. Now, if CarMax didn't have a redevelopment agreement and it wasn't a permitted use in that zone, absolutely would have to get a use variance in front of the zoning board. And that's 5 affirmative votes from the zoning board. But as it's read here and what I've heard from your I don't say testimony, but comments, it was in front of the planning board and it was in front of the correct board because of the redevelopment agreement.
Okay, I'm with you on all that.
Okay.
I understand it and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Still, forgetting CarMax for a second, the whole entire township, all 117 square miles, falls under the redevelopment ordinance. That could be anywhere. And if a developer goes by the ordinance and engages with the township committee rather than the zoning or planning board. Well, we'll go to the planning board. But how will residents, normally under the way it's always been, if there is a use variance, it goes before, it's advertised to the neighbors. That's my concern. Trophy Park. Not to bring up the subject, but it's a good example. If there's going, I don't know what's going to be there, hotels and all kinds of things that are not permitted in that area, typically when the application would come before and I'm not sure what stage we are in with that project, but let's say it's moving forward. Typically, all of the people within the 200-foot area receive a certified or you got to sign for the notice. I think this whole thing, it's a way to get around the zoning board. It lacks transparency with the neighbors. This could all be taking place anywhere in the whole township, and the people who live in those neighborhoods will not know. They will not be noticed.
With the redevelopment agreements or redevelopment plan, if a redevelopment plan was ever developed, you would have to get noticed.
What?
They would be noticed
Okay.
of that specific block and lot. So
now-
anywhere in the township.
Okay, but-
Anywhere, if there's a redevelopment plan that is presented to the board and then sent down to the planning board to vote on, they have to be noticed around that area.
Were they noticed at Cormax? I know it's a commercial area.
I don't know what the specifics are for this, and we can look into it.
Would you
but-
please,
But I don't know what's changing, and if the plans changed, or maybe the agreement's just changed because it's outdated. That's it. But the plan still stays the same. Nothing's changed. Then I don't know the law, but if they have to do. But I do know that if the plan is presented to a board to get voted on, everybody will be noticed within 200 feet of that block and lots that are associated. So in regards to whatever you're saying, Trophy Park, I don't believe there's been any plans
Okay, I understand.
at all. There hasn't been I don't know if there's a developer's agreement. I don't know any of that.
Okay.
So I'm not going to speak on that. behalf.
Okay, let's refer back to Cormax. Could you look to see
I said I would, absolutely.
if the neighbors, and a lot of it's commercial, but if they were indeed noticed for a use variance for that project? Because going forward, this is my concern.
I'm assuming it wasn't noticed for a use variance because it went through the planning board. So it was part of a redevelopment plan.
But if redevelopment goes through the planning board,
You still have to notice. If the plan was sent through the planning board, you would still have to notice
to the neighbors,
to the neighbors.
or
That's
use
correct.
variance.
Not a use variance. There's
Not
no
a use-
use variance.
Okay,
If it's part of the redevelopment plan, there's no use variance part of that plan because
Okay.
you're allowing that use to be part of the plan.
okay.
And everybody will be noticed as part of that.
And what kind of a notice, what does it, what's part of the notice? What's the legal requirements of the notice?
It
Just,
basically would state that this use and plan is being presented to the planning board with the certain use that's shown.
I think we're getting into more questions that would be better answered by our redevelopment attorney.
well.
I don't
okay,
want to put Bob on the spot here.
This
You're
is
right.
just what I've been seeing in the
Yeah,
whole
but-
township.
I agree with you, but she was, the attorney was invited back and did not address my question. That's why
Okay.
I'm going to continue to ask it until,
Well, I think it's obvious after, with the addition of Thelma, and we're going to take a very good look at this redevelopment ordinance
okay,
and make sure that everybody that is up on this
okay,
dais is still agreeing with it.
that's fine.
And seeing if there's anything that can be changed,
The only-
modified, make it better, make it whatever.
One thing I would, and I'll be honest, I don't completely understand it as hard as I try. It seems to me if areas in need of redevelopment would not be scaled back to be specific with a lot or an area rather than just a blanket, the whole township is, and if you would just identify specific lots and blocks, I think it would be a little more be easier for the residents of those particular areas to follow it.
And when that ordinance was passed, I believe Judy was the only one that was up here.
I realize
when
that.
that was passed.
I know
So I think it is time to look at it again and learn from the past.
Okay.
And what worked, what didn't work. And we are definitely going to look into that and move on from there.
Okay, great, thank you. The other thing is, the one that was added, you're going to advertise for a township administrator. Are the existing job description going to be advertised?
That will be,
In other words,
we're going to discuss that, I'm sure.
Okay, in public?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
That's all I got for now.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, no, I'm not used to doing that. That's the administrator's job. No, that was it. Thank you.
Three discussions, nothing. Introduction of ordinances, nothing. Award of bids and contracts. 5A, award contract of residential inspection measurement services, professional property appraisers. Discussion?
I really am a little confused. We have an appraiser going to look at new residential buildings, or what is the purpose of this? For residential inspection and measurement services, does this go hand in glove with our,
Yes, this was requested by Bill Johnson. I did not speak to him. Cynthia, do you have any information on this?
I believe this is to assist the tax assessor's office in doing appraisers during appeals and what have you.
Yeah, it's on an as-needed basis.
okay, and who would that professional property appraisers, Inc., is that who Bill Johnson suggests?
That's the company that he recommends, yes.
Yes.
That's the company that we've had for many years.
Okay.
Do I have a motion moving this?
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
B, resolution of the Township of Hamilton authorizing execution of an amendment to the redevelopment agreement with CarMax Auto Superstores. They asked for an extension to their timeline, I believe, Aaron, 18 months? 18-month extension. And for the most part, basically, it's, I guess they are hoping for a better pricing on construction. So they're asking us to give them an extension.
What was the original agreement for this CarMax? When did it start? How long have they been dealing with us?
I believe
I
the
believe it-
original agreement was executed in 2020.
Yep.
They,
2020, and now we're asking to
The
2024?
original agreement required them to begin construction 12 months after their final outside approval, for approval from outside agencies, which was received in March of 2022. So because of the price of cost of materials, they've requested, all the bids they've put out have come in millions over budget, so they've requested that we extend the time to begin construction on or before December 31st, 2024. It doesn't mean they're going to wait until December 31st.
Yeah, but what if someone else wants, to involve themselves with that property and
They are the owners of the
They are the
property.
owners.
They are the owners
They
of
are
that
the owners of the
property?
property.
Okay, so it isn't that they're restricting someone else from coming in and,
So they're asking for an extension of the redevelopment agreement.
Yes, the Exhibit C, the project timeline. They just, basically, they're being proactive and don't want to get stuck in breach of their contract.
I have a question, and I just wanted to be clear on this one. For the B, in the synopsis that was prepared, it talked about Exhibit C, timeline due to excessive costs in an unpredictable market.
Yes.
So when I hear those kind of words, that tells me money. But from my understanding, I just wanted for the record, there is no additional cost, it's just getting the extension.
Yes, there's no cost to the township.
All right, thank you.
the only cost would be, they're going under redevelopment, so they're not gonna be paying taxes.
Well, but they're paying taxes on the property.
They are paying
Yes.
taxes on the
Yeah,
current
on the land,
property, but
yes.
once they go through redevelopment, then they get a tax exempt,
No, they get a 5-year abatement on the improvements.
5-year abatement on the improvement, which is the whole thing.
Right. So it'll be,
Just one,
they'll
one
be
part of-
paying the taxes on the land, and then it goes 80, the first year, it's 80%, 60%, 40, 20, 100. And then after the 5th year, they pay 100% on the land and all of the improvements.
Okay?
They always pay 100% on the property, correct?
On the land, yes.
Yes.
but on their addition that they put on, they will have that
The
5-year.
5-year abatement.
Okay.
So it'll take 5 years before they're paying 100%.
100%.
And again, they're paying the taxes on the land,
Yes.
period.
Yep.
Yes, that doesn't go away. So I have a motion for 5B.
So move.
Second? Anybody?
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
5C, authorize the annual maintenance contract with Pro Phoenix Corp. not to exceed $48,006.93 for software maintenance and support for the period January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
So move.
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
We have a change order number 1 for bid 2022-11 to Arawak Paving Company for the 2022 road program in the amount of $30,028.20. Any questions, discussion?
What is the majority of the money, additional monies for?
When they paved Tunney Avenue, they had to do some survey work to get the water to flow where it needed to flow. When they did that, it changed the elevation of the roadway a little bit, so it's not lining up with everybody's driveways. So we have to make sure all the driveways all are working properly.
Yeah,
say
but
the
didn't
least.
they estimate or give an engineering estimate on this problem? And Tunney has been a problem for years as far as that's concerned, and I don't understand why they didn't include that in their original.
Like I said, our engineer's not here. I don't know, Brett, do you have any info on this, or? I mean, I think more, only because I'm in the industry a little bit, it's kind of an as-built thing.
Okay.
We didn't want to just pave it and leave it the way it was and end up with some of the same problems with drainage. So they did the best they could to get the water to move there where it needs to go. And when they did that,
So basically, they raised the center of the road up to remedy a drainage problem in the center of the road. So when I say center of the road, I mean middle between Park Road and Lake Drive, water laid in there. So they had to raise the road up. It was almost like a bowl. But when they raised the road up, it lowered everybody's driveways basically down. They raised the road up 2 inches in some places, 4 inches in other places. So this change order is to match everyone's driveways with the new elevation of the road.
Now, how does that affect Park Road?
That actually doesn't affect Park Road.
It doesn't?
No, not at all.
Okay, because
It's
there was-
utilizing the drainage system in mid-span between Park and Lake. And then there's some drainage at the end near Lake Drive. They're trying to get the water from the center of Tawny down to the corner of Lake and Tawny. And some of it did shed off towards Park Road, but it's not going to actually add any additional stormwater to the intersection there. It's basically staying the same at Park Road and Tawny.
What are they doing to offset this problem? Can you explain, they have a problem, but how are they offsetting it?
They just had to add additional milling and additional asphalt to bring the road up. So that's where the change order came in, plus the additional driveway aprons that we had to add. And the other part of the change order is we had to extend Pontiac Avenue out in the Cologne section to pick up a driveway that was missed down towards the end of the road. So that's the complete change order.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I want to ask a question. Has the majority of this work already been completed?
Yes, this works.
This is just the additional, because normally when you do a change order, that means we have exhausted the money that we originally had in the contract, and this is additional. Because I'm looking at this and I'm just a little,
The only work that hasn't been completed is the driveway aprons on Tunny. If we would have waited and remobilized Arawak for Pontiac, they would have charged us a remobilization to go back out there and extend the road. And all of Tunny was paved. While they were out there, they shot grades and raised the road in the center. So all that work has been done. Extra asphalt's been put down.
and all the work on Tunney for the driveways, or driveway aprons, it's all laid out. I saw Mark out there today, and a Arawak backhoe showed up today. So they are mobilizing to go out there.
And I'm happy to say their work was I would say about 97% successful. There's no water from what I've seen in the last couple of rain events that's actually laying where it was. So what they did worked. So the final piece of the puzzle is getting the driveways to match the road.
Okay, so is there a curb cut for each house that is on Tunney?
No, they're just, so if you're familiar with driveway aprons, they have to raise the end of the resident's driveway roughly 1.5 inches to keep stormwater from the road entering their property.
Okay.
So that's what they're doing now. So if you go down Tunney, there's an area, a 5-foot area in front of most homes that needs to be redone to
Okay,
properly keep
to raise it up so that there's no problem with drainage. Okay,
Okay? Thanks, Brett.
so the $30,000 that we are approving right now, or attempt to approve, that will cover these problems?
Correct.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
they done it early because they wanted to get it in the right price.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I mean, they're doing it now with the 30,000, because when you look at exhibit, this engineering page on the last page, it has the contract cost.
Oh, down the bottom, total contract?
Right, no, on the, in the exhibit, I mean, on this exhibit, it has the quantity, the contract unit cost, and then they have if it's completed. see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's saying 0. Well, that's why I questioned it.
that the amount of money has been used that has been appointed already. or
Right.
have been
Yeah,
approved.
but when you look at the 3, 12, 13, and 14, I can see where monies have been used in it, but I didn't see monies that have been used in the other columns.
312.
13
Oh,
and
down,
14.
down.
See what I'm saying?
The quantity adjustments for the
Right.
change order.
Right.
So they are the adjustments.
Those are the adjustments, but at the top of it, it doesn't show where the work actually was done. I'm sure it was, but I was just saying it just didn't show. It says 0 at the end,
Right.
so it looks like it
So,
wasn't done.
yeah, because all we're doing is approving this change order, that's it.
Right,
All that work has already been approved and paid.
all right, that's all, but the only reason why I asked the question, because it said 0.
It says zeros, yes.
Right, so it looked like it wasn't done.
When
It probably was, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
it was
that's
done.
the way-
Do a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Can someone, I'm just sorry,
Second.
I don't want to belabor that point. But this being zeros on the end, does that mean it has been done or it's not done?
you're saying
That is all from the original contract.
But it
Right.
has been done.
So it doesn't say completed.
It'll-
No, because all we're doing is approving the change order. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Or the completion,
Right.
because I was,
Because it's
well,
already been completed. I don't know why he has it in there under as 0. I don't know why he did that. He's not here to explain himself. I mean, I'd hate to table this because then it's going to stop Arrowac from doing the job.
if I can get the answers after the fact, it's fine, but
Okay.
I'm just saying it just didn't match, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the times when you do a change order, it's because you have already expended everything in the contract, and this is something additional. But it just looks like, I'm sure it's done, so I'm gonna go ahead and vote for it.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay. We'll get Joe Maffei to give you a call, reach out to you, and explain why.
Yeah, there, for instance, like the milling depth of 1 foot, it shows up here, contract cost is 30,000. But then down here, it says the same.
Well,
Okay.
actually, that's,
But
they did a
then-
little bit less milling, so it was a negative for that, but then there was other things that cost us more money. They did more
Okay.
pulverization, so that increased cost.
Okay, so the next step, but, comparing to milling up at the part of the chart,
Yeah, because that section of Pontiac, right? Pontiac, they didn't have to mill it because there wasn't much paving there, correct? So they just pulverized it, regraded it, extended it, and paved it.
so we made money on that one,
Well, save money on
Saved money.
not having to mill it,
yeah.
Okay.
okay? I think I had a motion from Mr. Cheek. Yep.
Okay, so it's, all these numbers minus a negative come out to 30?
30,028.20.
Okay.
I have a
Very good.
motion.
Second?
I have a second. Rita, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Consent agenda. Anything anybody wants to pull out? Jay?
And O.
You want to pull out O? And R was removed, was deleted.
Have we not, okay, under O, I'd like to talk about that too. Yeah.
Okay,
so-
do I have a motion for A through I, K, L, M, N, P, and Q?
So moved.
Second.
Second? All those in, this, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. So J,
I have no names.
Do we have a name for this?
No,
No?
so that is normally the administrator, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Administrator and then somebody else who the administrator picks. And then we approve, I believe, is how it's normally done. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's the administrator and human resources. Can
Did
anybody
we table
confirm
that until we have an administrator?
It might have been administrator and human resources before. We don't have either one.
So, we- so what do we do? I mean, because no
Well-
one, has it been properly moved? and
We,
I
we
think
did,
we-
we did post the position in-house. I'm not aware of anyone asking
Oh,
to be
so it's an
appointed.
in-house position.
We did
Yes.
post it in-house. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we list it outside of the house? or
That's a
just
good
as-
question. I can't
I mean, because
imagine
we didn't
someone
find anyone
wanting
in-house. Is it possible for us to get someone out-house? Out of the,
And
that
then
doesn't
out-
sound right. That ain't like an outhouse, but not a part of the township.
Is that, do you know anything? Can we post that outside?
That's something I have to look into, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to
Okay.
say no, but I can't imagine someone.
All right,
It
so,
should be, I would think, the administrator.
yes, let's table this for right now, and then I think later on, we're going to have an administrator, a temporary administrator.
Okay,
okay, so we can table that.
table that.
All right, and to table, I would make the motion to table J, 6J.
Do we need a motion to table it?
In a
So
second.
moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. O. Correct? Yes. Judy?
Okay, advertise RFQs for local endorsement cannabis establishments. What are they?
Aaron, you want to come down and go over this for us, please?
So the local endorsement of a cannabis establishment by resolution from the governing body is a requirement for any applicants with the Cannabis Regulatory Commission to receive their conversion from a conditional license to an annual operating license.
And what does that involve?
Well, what the resolution that I requested for the agenda gives my office permission to advertise a request for qualifications for interested cannabis businesses opening in Hamilton Township, to send in. We treat it as competitive contracting, so it is open for 20 days, and anyone interested can send in proposals. It is then scored by a committee of 3, and the scores are averaged. And if a proposal scores over 70 points, it's then forwarded to the township committee.
Did we do this last year?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, and this allows my office to release this on a quarterly basis until there are no more endorsements left. And with each request for qualification advertisement, there is a cover letter that lays out how many endorsements are still available in each zone.
Now, on the cannabis establishments, are they supposed to have a piece of property picked out?
It's not necessary, but it does give them points in the scoring process.
Okay.
To
Are
get their
these-
annual
Are these something that we will see?
Yes, in fact, I included the proposal for the one that was on the agenda tonight that we pulled with your packet.
Yes, we did, this happened
Yes.
last year.
And the proposals,
when
I
this-
include them.
When cannabis law was passed and we started this ball rolling.
Yes, and I do include any proposal that scores over 70 points in the packets for a committee, and they're always available in my office if you'd like a paper copy.
So how does this advance the cannabis establishment? It gives them extra points?
No, but they simply cannot get a license from the state without it.
Okay, and how many steps do they have to go through before they can apply to the state?
They can apply for the state and local endorsement simultaneously,
They can?
yes. But they will not be approved at the state level now, they can get a conditional license from the state without the local endorsement, but that conditional license does not allow an establishment to operate. It cannot operate until that's converted to an annual license, and the state will not do that without the township's endorsement.
Okay. All right.
Good?
Very good.
We have
Motion?
we have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Ayes have it. Personnel. Appoint Rita Martino Township Clerk as Municipal Improvement Search Officer for the year 2023.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Is this roll call or roll call vote, please?
Yeah, because
Mr.
it-
Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Appoint Renee DeSalvo Tax Collector as Municipal Tax Search Officer for the year 2023.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Appoint William Johnson as Municipal Exemption and Abatement Officer for the year 2023.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Appoint Renee DeSalvo as Municipal Tax Abatement Billing Officer for the year 2023.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali? All
Yes.
yes and carried.
Resolution appointing Carol Pickett Young as Volunteer Senior Police Chaplain for the Police Department.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek? Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Resolution appointing Arthur Train as a temporary employee assigned as a Class II Special Law Enforcement Officer for the Police Department at $22.27 per hour, effective January 3rd, 23, not to exceed 11 months in duration.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution appointing an acting township administrator.
So moved.
We have to pick
Well,
somebody.
we have to pick someone.
Oh, I thought the resolution was just approved.
No,
Resolution doesn't have a name in it.
It doesn't have a name.
no. I would like to move Brett Knoll as our temporary administrator.
I second that.
Is there a time frame?
Want me to read the whole?
You want me to read it? You want to read it?
Yeah.
Just
I'll read
that
it.
part? Go ahead.
Resolution appointing Brett Knoll as acting township administrator, whereas the Township of Hamilton is currently without a business administrator, and whereas there is an immediate need to appoint an acting township administrator to temporarily perform the duties of such office while the search for a full-time replacement is conducted, and whereas the term of office of the acting township administrator shall be no more than 60 calendar days, from his or her confirmation by majority vote of the Township Committee, and whereas the acting Township Administrator shall serve at the pleasure of the governing body until a full-time Township Administrator is appointed in accordance with Chapter 60-31 of the Code of the Township of Hamilton until the expiration of the 60-day term or until the acting Township Administrator is removed by majority vote of the governing body, whichever shall occur first. And whereas the removal from office of the acting Township Administrator shall not be subject to the requirements of Chapter 60-32 of the Code of the Township of Hamilton, nor shall the acting Township Administrator be entitled to or receive additional compensation for the temporary appointment. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee, the Township of Hamilton to, oh no, I guess we got to vote, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry? You were doing good.
To appoint Brett Knoll as acting Township Administrator effective January 3rd, 2023, with no additional compensation.
There you go.
No additional compensation?
Dr. Witherspoon, is she motion?
Do we have a motion,
I had a
correct?
motion and a
Second.
And a second? Okay.
So,
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carry.
Congratulations, I think, Brett.
Thank you, Brett.
7H, authorization to approve timesheets for department heads in the absence of an administrator. So basically, Cynthia Lindsay will approve the timesheets that have already been submitted.
Mr. Mayor, would this be moot in light of the
Yeah, we can
appointment?
move
Oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
Would this be moot in light of the appointment of the acting administrator?
No, because I believe she
Need to-
approved previous ones. So this is,
Today.
Yeah,
yes.
So my apologies, I just.
yeah.
Okay,
And I-
no, that's, I
to
want,
approve-
we need everybody on the same page.
Wait a minute, is to approve previous or to continue what you do?
No,
No.
because now we have we have an administrator,
Right,
But,
okay?
but
yeah,
for the,
that's fine.
And
I
one
just
other
have a
thing that
question.
was left off on the agenda, which I neglected to put on there, but just to be clear, Ms. Lindsay's not approving her own. This would
Right.
give Mary Kelly the approval in the absence of an administrator or an acting administrator to approve Ms. Lindsay. So nobody would be approving their own.
so,
Understood?
the HR would be approving
Approving
hers.
just-
Yes.
And she would be approved, so we can pay our help.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It said, I just want to be clear, now that we have an acting administrator, the acting administrator will be signing off on
Yes.
the timesheets.
Yes.
And then, prior to that, it was the chief financial officer that was going to sign off.
Yes, if we pass this.
All right, I just want, just one question. Now, there's various departments, right? So, we have heads of those departments. They don't sign off on their own? And
No,
then-
the heads of the departments sign off on their piece. So what Cynthia is doing is signing off on the department heads only.
Okay. That wasn't clear. All right, but I understand now.
Okay?
All right, I got it.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion to second, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carry.
And then we have on the late list, motion of authorization to advertise for a township administrator.
So move.
Second.
Well, we have to decide on, I believe, on what the qualifications are.
Well, in your packets
Yep.
is a copy of the last advertisement that we ran. That's in your packets under 7G, resolution appointing an acting township administrator.
It's on the third page, page 3, correct?
Says township job description. Is that the
Page
advertisement?
3.
Yes, I believe you're right.
And this is the advertisement, the last time we advertised for a township administrator.
So it was, can I ask a question with this? I have no, I mean, I know what was done prior to me getting this. Are we gonna go, is this gonna be the description going forward? Or are we going to go under the other guidelines? I mean, it was changed. Are we keeping this, or are we gonna keep it at the, since we're going out to advertise?
We
Right.
would have to approve.
So what
the
are
other.
you looking at? You are looking at, I see you're looking at a different page. Where are you at? Because I think you are looking at the
Job
different job, yeah, the job description. On page 3 is just the, what our advertisement looked like. Township Administrator, Township of Hamilton, Atlantic County, population of 26,500, $27 million budget, 150 employees, 113 square miles. Township Committee form of government with 5 elected officials. Seeks experience, motivated professional with a minimum of 5 years. New Jersey municipal government management experience preferred to oversee all daily operations of a large, full-service municipality, including budget, human relations, labor management, special projects, etc. Experience in a similarly sized municipality preferred. Experience in redevelopment and rehabilitation strongly desired. Must have excellent oral, written, and computer skills. Must be able to proficiently manage and meet multiple deadlines as assigned by the governing body. Must possess the ability to establish and maintain effective communication with elected officials, employees, professionals, and volunteers. Experience in working cohesively with New Jersey state government agencies and Pinelands Commission, a plus. BA required, MBA preferred. A candidate with an associate's degree will be considered if they have 9 years of New Jersey municipal government management experience. Salary range $130,000 to $160,000. Discussion on that, or are we okay with this?
Are we looking for somebody else, or are we not?
Yes.
Yes.
The deadline, we
Well,
have to
to-
change the deadline.
And, yeah.
Correct. So, submit cover letter, resume, and salary requirements to Mary Kelly, or do we just want to put Human Resources Director?
I sent out an email to Mary Kelly today and asked her if she would be able to help us with this, but I think she's only on board for a few more weeks. And I don't know if we'll have a human resource.
So, can we have submit cover letter, resume, and salary requirements to Rita?
Yes. Yeah, and that's fine.
I am not seeing this.
You
Page 3.
could say that, you could say Brett Knoll, the administrator, whatever you want. And,
7G?
7G, okay. Oh, okay.
no, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we shouldn't, just maybe in case there's a conflict.
I'm
Maybe it
sorry.
should-
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it could go to the administrator, but that might be a conflict. Yeah, just, you can have it come to me.
So we'll have it go to Rita Martino, administrator on the subject line, deadline for submitting applications. What kind of a deadline do we want to give? We want to give 2 weeks, we want to give a month, we want to give,
I'd say a month.
30 days, a month.
30
A month
days.
is good.
so January 31st. How's that?
That's good.
If you're,
I don't know how long it's going to take to advertise it and where you want it advertised. That might take a minute to get it.
It takes
Obviously,
like 10
in-
days, doesn't it? Doesn't it take like 10 days?
I don't know. I'm not familiar at all. I'm hoping that Mary Kelly can help me with that. I have no idea where you want to advertise or how you advertise.
Obviously, in-house on our website and the League of Municipalities.
Yeah, 30 days after publication?
do you want to do it only at 30
That
days?
sounds
And
good.
then it's going into the administrator of 60 days?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to have it submitted before then?
So say February 14th.
That's fine.
And that gives us,
So we have a meeting on February 6th and February 21st.
February 6th would be the 30 days, so.
February 6th then.
So the
So February
application's
6th?
due back by February
February
6th?
And then at least then we can get them given out to everybody that meeting night.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to interview them and, you know, that's a whole
That's
process.
a 5-person interview,
Mhm.
so you need special meetings set up.
Yeah.
Unless all 5 don't want to be, I'm sure all 5 want to be involved, so.
Do I have a motion on how I presented it with Rita as the receiver of said resumes?
I'll
And the
motion.
date, 1/31/20, or no, we said
February 6th.
You said February 6th.
2/6/23. We have a motion, we have a second?
So moved.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Approvals. Minutes of December 19th, 2022, regular meeting. Have a
So
motion?
moved?
Second?
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Abstain.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Executive session minutes of December 19th, 2022.
Oh, gosh. So
Motion.
moved?
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Or you can second? It's
Roll
the
call.
19th.
Roll call,
Mr.
please.
Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Abstain.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Motion to pay the bills for $442,214.43.
So moved?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
No administrator, solicitor, do you have a report?
Nothing formal from the solicitor's office, but I do want to thank the Township Committee for the reappointment as solicitor. And I'd like to congratulate everybody, especially Dr. Witherspoon and Mayor Talley. And Mr. Sandman gives his regrets he couldn't make tonight. Just got back on a 12-and-a-half-hour flight from Argentina.
Yeah, we'll let him go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our new engineer.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to ditto on top of what Kevin had said. Thank you for the appointment. I look forward to representing the township and hope to be working with you guys quickly. So, thank you.
Get on board.
No report.
Very good, thank you. Township Committee members. Dr. Witherspoon.
Again, I want to thank everyone who, congratulations to the mayor and deputy mayor, and to everyone who, I want to thank everyone who voted for me, again, and I'm looking forward to working very hard in this township with everyone. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Mrs. Link.
I know this would be a very difficult reorg. And I think we were able to have a commonality or mind to make things work, even though one of our committee woman was absent during the whole procedure. And, you know, if we had, Thelma and I had not really done what was best for the community, we could have been here at 2-2, motion failed, 2-2, motion failed, and so on and so forth. And so I think Thelma and I decided to take the high road in making the approvals happen. And I think that we will move forward in a very positive way to make sure that we all, as I said before, know what is transpiring. And we also have to take another look at the planning board attendance and see where people should be replaced if they haven't been coming, and the same thing with the zoning board. I think that as we move forward in this redevelopment atmosphere, that we have to go back and revisit what has, been sort of like the wild, wild west. And, I think the term redevelopment and the law that refers to redevelopment has to be re-examined and reworked. The one big redevelopment that I always have wanted for the last 10 years is the redevelopment of the cotton mill. And that in itself will be a project that we all can work on and hopefully get it passed. But that was truly a redevelopment. So let's move forward and see what we can do to make things better for our community, make our community more informed, and do the right thing as far as, what is ahead of us. So we have a big year coming up, and a lot of new expenses, so we have to work hard on the budget and, all those things. Now, we didn't get our assignments yet, but I think basically we're all going to be part of those assignments so that we know what is happening. And that is about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Once again, congratulations to Dr. Witherspoon and Mayor Catali, and I look forward to working with everyone this year, and hopefully we, as a township, we move forward and show progress. So that's all I have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you again to everybody. Thank you for your support. And I'd like to say we're going to keep. I want to keep looking forward. I don't want to look in the past. Let's look forward. Let's move forward, and do so with everybody in mind, and be open, transparent, so that everybody knows what's going on, and so we can kind of lose that stigma that we kind of got stuck with a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's big things like Judy said, cotton mill, Wheaton's, trying to get something going with the racetrack. Obviously looking at the Hamilton Mall and doing what we can to help them, and moving forward from there. And then of course we're going to have a very challenging budget this year. I'm looking at Cynthia and knowing that she's going to do her best, and we're all going to put our heads together to do whatever we can to keep taxes steady, or whatever we have to do. I make no promises on where that's going to go. But trust me when I tell you that we're going to do everything we can to keep things where everybody can accept what's at hand. So looking forward, thank you all very much, and everybody have a safe and prosperous and happy New Year. With that, we'll open up to public comment.
Hi, Alice Henry with Drosera. I know it's been a long meeting, so I'll try to be brief. Congratulations, Mayor Patali and Dr. Witherspoon. Welcome.
Thank you.
I want you guys to just please remember our group and our values while making decisions regarding Trophy Park. It is a very important and concerning issue to many of us in the community. Please continue to try to fight to preserve our neighborhoods and adhere to our current zoning for rural development in that particular area if possible, and prevent virgin land from being utilized to damage the environment or the homes in that area that would potentially cause exponential problems for all of us that live in that area. It is currently zoned as an RD5. It's not for commercial use. It is a rural development, not a regional growth area, so it's a very inappropriate area for that project, in my personal opinion. Please, I greatly appreciate the fact that you guys are working to rehabilitate existing dilapidated areas that definitely need it, and commend you for your efforts in that area. And please continue to stand with the community who your decisions are representing, and we really appreciate that and appreciate the fact that you're looking to re-examine the redevelopment ordinance. Please continue to promote redevelopment, not rezoning, and trying to change it so that our entire township is not an area for rehabilitation. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. At the December 19th Township Committee hired a zoning officer. If you look at the job description in the code book, it requires a 4-year bachelor's degree with specialties in municipal planning, landscape architecture, and directly related items. And 4 years of experience. There's a few things for a certificate might substitute for 1 year maybe. And there are a lot of other criteria. The individual that you hired could not check one box. Their education was a high school diploma with they were in the real estate appraisal business, which has absolutely no correlation with the job description passed by I think Mr. Jacobs as the administrator in 2016. So I don't know if you were aware that you were hiring someone that had 0 qualifications. Sure. What's real difficult is I think some of the things that you were talking about, the cotton mill, the racetrack, you can go right down the list. The zoning violations. The zoning officer many times is the first look at construction permits, zoning permits. It's a very complicated job, particularly in our township, because there's just so many different zones, and it's just very complicated. So were you aware that you were hiring someone that could not check one single box? It was even advertised as having a bachelor's degree. So obviously I'm kind of disappointed. Personally, planning and zoning is the thing that I care most about. Everybody has their pet concern. I'm very disappointed. I don't know what you can do about it, but you really need to look again at that position, because it's critical. Because a zoning officer that does not have the criteria and the experience cannot help you solve the problems that you were talking about. So I don't know what happened, but something, to me, very serious happened. So you're going to have to revisit it, even if you have to hire another one. Okay? And I know the workload is overwhelming to the people who have had that job. So it's critical. So thank you. The timesheets. What's the rule? What's the for salaried employees? What is the criteria? Is it a 40-hour week? who monitors it? What is, I know this came up not too long ago. What is required of salaried employees as far as being here?
I believe each department head salary, they all have their own contracts.
Right.
Some of them, and I'm looking for a little bit of help here.
Generally 40 hours, I guess is my question.
30, 35.
Yeah, they don't have their own contracts.
One hourly wise.
If anybody has a contract, speak up.
The administrator.
No, we don't have contracts. There are some of us that are required to work 40-hour week.
Right, okay,
and
so
there's
it's
some
not
of
a
us
contract, but,
It's part of the resolution.
Right.
Or we're considered exempt employees, non-exempt. I myself am required to work 40-hour work week. I am allowed to count my time here at a meeting. Other people are under other criteria. They cannot count meeting time.
I'm just
they're
curious
required
because it
40.
was on the agenda and you brought it
And,
up.
and there's some 35. I
Right.
just want to get that in there.
There's
Some
35s,
people
there's
permitted to work
40s.
35.
yes.
So I guess the question, if someone is monitoring their timesheets, what are they looking for? Essentially is the question. If somebody says, okay, this person has fulfilled their requirement for the week, the month, the year, they have to know what the standard is before they can say, okay, they have met the requirement, therefore they can be paid. So it just might be another,
And that was the administrator's, that's the administrator's responsibility.
okay,
Why we didn't have an administrator here for these last couple weeks.
right, understood.
You know, since Cynthia, we passed that resolution
Okay.
today
Understood.
to get that squared
Just going
away.
forward, as long as everybody understands what everybody's responsibility is, then there's no question. That's it. Thank you.
I do want to say, as for the zoning officer,
Yes.
Aaron, I'm going to ask you, how many people applied?
Not many. We received, it was advertised on Indeed, which they work, I guess, with an algorithm. So they did send us some applications, but they were not even remotely qualified. The zoning officer that was hired is the most remotely qualified applicant that we had. And we had four applications that were remotely qualified. One interview that did not go, the three panelists did not feel as it went well. A second interview was a no-call, no-show. The interview for the person we hired, and then we had another interview scheduled, but this person would have been relocating from 5 hours away, and when he looked at rents in the area, he decided that they were too high for the salary.
So with the criteria that we put out there, that's kind of what we had.
Well,
So,
I would have to suggest you keep re-advertising until you get the person that can do the job. And you just keep looking. You just can't, my opinion, you can't advertise or require a bachelor's with a whole list of criteria to do the job. And just because you don't get the pool of applicants on the first shot, you just have to say, okay, let's keep trying until we get, because this is a position that's going to be here for a long time, and it's not going to help you or anybody by hiring
it
someone.
also doesn't help that we don't have anybody at all.
Well,
So you have somebody in the office that moved up to land use administrator, and then, so that person is trying to do two jobs.
okay, well.
So, I mean, I hear what you're saying.
We'll
but
we'll agree to disagree on that. So,
Understood.
the
Continue.
important thing is, now, another thing, as a member of the zoning board, the zoning officer attends and advises the zoning board members to make informed decisions. That's just one reason why it's critical to have an individual who knows what they're doing and has experience. So again, we'll agree to disagree, but it's your responsibility to provide, a qualified person for that job.
Understood. Thanks, Bruce. Anybody else? Motion to close?
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Link?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Thelma, and everybody on the board. We're looking forward to a real productive 2023. And as a member of the loyal opposition and the campaign chairman for Thelma, I just want to appreciate the fact that both parties, everybody worked together, had common goals, and even though we didn't get all the appointments that perhaps we would like to have seen, and that's the way it goes, we get it. But thank you, Carl. Thank you, everybody, for kicking the new year off in a right direction. And, you know, as Judy and Thelma mentioned, we're all working or hoping to work together to get what's done, you know, for the township rather than party. So we're looking for it from that point of view. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Brett, I believe, wants to say something? Mr. Administrator?
So I just want to say that I am currently entering my 19th year with Hamilton Township, and it's been an interesting journey, and I want to thank all of my coworkers, all the department heads that I've worked with, all the past administrators, the governing body for considering me for this role. Nelson Gaskell. Nelson promoted me up into management back in 2007. So, I mean, it's been a long ride, and we have a lot of work to do. Although it's a 60-day appointment, we have to get the morale back, and we have to get the teamwork back in town hall, and that's what I'm going to focus on for the first 60 days that I'm in. And I just want to wish you the best of luck with a permanent solution, permanent administrator. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. All right. Anybody else? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's over.